Hi everyone, Trina Phoenix here. So funny, I just tried to record a video and obviously I had too many recordings on the phone so it wouldn't upload the video. It's probably a good thing because I started crying and bawling like a baby and had to stop the video. So hopefully that won't happen again because I'm going to have to start over and I still haven't read the part that made me lose it. So hopefully I can keep it together because that was quite ironic. I was like, oh boy. Okay, I just lost it. It was funny. Oh, and look what I got going on. This is so much fun. I love to try to take care of yourself when you're sick. And this is it's got a candle underneath and it keeps your tea warm. And it's a special blend of immune teas and it's so cool. It's kind of hard to see. But there's literally flowers in the teapot and they open up when they get warm. And that's when you know your tea is ready. So it's awesome. And I have a mix of flower power. And then I've got immune support. And then I got this from Karen, Queen of Quartz, which is the psychic tea. And I put that in there too because that's really tastes really good. So I was like, oh my gosh, I think I need some tea today. Keep my throat happy. Yeah, it's so fun. So I got my immune boosting support going on and hopefully it'll keep me from coughing. I'm not coughing too much, so I'm getting better. Oh my gosh, that's so good. You're gonna hear me sounding like Wayne with the tea today. That's so funny. Oh, we're wearing off on each other. Tea time. Oh, and it's hot and it's good. Okay, so we were into, this is 3.6, and where we were was we were getting ready to go into the Mother of Guadalupe, Lady of Guadalupe, and we had just gotten done with the Three Marys, and that information really rocked me too. A very powerful information for me. I've always had such a strong connection to the Lord, and with my connection to the Lord my whole life, I lost the connection to the divine feminine. And even though he was the representation for me of the divine feminine, the inner voice, the inner guidance, like a spirit guide, but it was so great because I could see and literally like have conversations, you know, even argue, everything. It was just so alive in my mind. And thank God I was able to keep that going as I got older. And it was a struggle, but, you know, working on that. But all of those years of keeping, just trying not to lose that connection and staying so focused on the Lord and wanting to be with His presence, I lost my other half. So I'm starting to reconnect with my divine feminine. And it's so funny too because the Lord is my divine feminine. It's kind of weird, but that's the way it kind of has worked out. So that's kind of funny, but yeah, it really kind of has become that. So this divine feminine information, for whatever reason, it's just bringing a huge remembering in me, and it's very powerful. So we will go now into, oh, I wanted to read one thing for you guys that is so beautiful. And I read it to you once before, and it's real quick, but it was from Mary Magdalene. And it says, "There are many gods and goddesses with great power, and manner of spirits that have secret knowledge. Yet the power that is in you is greater, and the knowledge that you possess is more rare and precious. I tell you, great luminous beings shall come, seeking power and knowledge from you. See that you give all who ask, and withhold only from those who come to steal. And those who receive it, let worship the anointed of God Most High." Here, Mary is speaking of the ultimate expression of the divine that lives within us all, each human, and extraterrestrial alike. Extraterrestrial alike part was, I thought, kind of interesting. Especially if we may be extraterrestrial too, which it looks like we probably are. So we will get in now to the Lady of Guadalupe. After a few minutes, we moved into a second statue several yards away. This lady was dressed in a long red gown and a sky blue cloak with golden stars, a corona of light that surrounded her. This is the Lady of Guadalupe, who appeared in Mexico nearly 500 years ago. And this is the picture that Tricia drew. Look at her face. Do you see too, she sits inside the Vesica Pisces, or the Yoni? Divine Feminine symbology all around her. So, okay. So, who appeared in Mexico nearly 500 years ago. Shasta said, I thought she looked like a large stone statue that I had bought years earlier to put in my very own backyard. I loved the sweet expression on her face. Shasta indicated that we should all sit down, so we took our places quietly among the surrounding benches. I am now going to tell you the story of the Lady of Guadalupe, she began, looking at our upturned faces. The year was 1531, and the Aztec natives of Mexico were in their 10th year of slavery under the tyranny of the Spanish conquistadors. The children of the sun had seen their temples profaned, their gods transformed into demons, their cultures stripped of gold, and millions had been murdered and others forcibly converted into Christianity, all in the name of Yeshua. As a result, the people went about their lives as quietly as possible, afraid that they would be killed. On December 9th, 1531, however, a middle-aged widower set off from his village to go to a large church gathering in Santiago. His Christian name was Juan Diego, but in his native tongue, his name meant he who speaks like an eagle. This was interesting. On the way, the man passed a hill on the outskirts of town that was once the site of the temple of the Aztec mother goddess. Suddenly Juan Diego heard the song of many singing birds. Curious, he climbed the hill, and he found it covered by a brilliant rainbow cloud of mist. Then a lady called his name. When the mist cleared, the man saw a beautiful lady standing in front of a blazing sun, dressed in the blue and red robes of Aztec royalty. Sorry, guys. The lady asked Juan Diego where he was going, and he said he was going to celebrate the feast day of God's mother at the local church. Only later did he realize that that lady that had spoken to him, it was in his native tongue. I looked around the circle, and I saw that all were listening with rapt attention. The lady then told Juan Diego that she was the mother of the creator of heaven and earth, and that she wanted him to build a temple to her on this very hill. That way, all who loved her could call upon her, and she would cease and ease their suffering. The lady instructed Juan Diego to go to the town's bishop and tell him her request. But he thought that no one would believe him. Yet he agreed to do as she had asked. He arrived at the large church where the bishop, Zumaranga, ruled, a Franciscan priest who had killed thousands in the Spanish Inquisitions before coming into America. The bishop listened solemnly. Then he told Juan Diego that if his story was true, he should come back with a sign from the lady. Discouraged, Juan Diego left, finding his way back to the mystical, mysterious hill. To his surprise, the lady was still there. He explained to her what had happened, and he declared that he must not be the one to send her message, since the bishop had not listened. The lady said, "Listen, my son, I have many servants and many messengers to whom I can entrust this message. But the humility of your heart pleases me. Am I not your mother? Am I not life and health? Have I not placed you on my lap and made you my responsibility?" The lady told Juan Diego to go up to the top of the hill where he would find the sign that the bishop had asked for. Then she vanished. Juan Diego climbed to the summit of the hill and found among the blackened ruins of the Mother's Temple a lavish rose garden. Here were the rare Castilian roses that were the hallmark of Spanish royalty. Gathering as many as he could in his tunic, he ran back to the bishop's place in excitement. This time they kept him waiting for hours in the courtyard, but eventually the bishop's assistants led him in. Juan Diego opened his tunic and let all of the roses spill onto the floor, their crimson petals bellying on the coldness of the wintry season. The assistant cried out, and the bishop rose as if struck by lightning. But it was not just the incredible roses that they were staring at, but Juan Diego's tunic, for there was an image of the lady herself emblazoned upon it. She appeared as a young Aztec woman with dark skin and eyes, and golden rays radiating from her body. Aztec hieroglyphics were embroidered on her clothing, and they examined the image. They could see the image of Juan Diego looking back up at her in the pupils of her eyes. Whoa, that is profound. Shasta paused, giving us a moment for the story to sink in. What a tale. Roses in winter and an image painted onto his tunic? Was she kidding? Wow. This was the story of the Lady of Guadalupe? Shasta went on. From the beginning, there were many miracles associated with the lady's coming. The first was the healing of Juan Diego's uncle, who was visited by the lady at the exact moment when his nephew was gathering the roses. It was this uncle who first told the bishop's secretary that the lady's name was Guadalupe. Some speculate that since the uncle spoke it in Nahuatl, the language of the Aztecs, that he might have said Cotlosapia? Cotlosapia. I don't know, sorry. The Aztec goddess whose name means walks on the serpent. Holy smack. Regardless, her symbols are the same as both Mary Magdalene and Isis. This is also too, right now, I just heard, this is the symbol of Ophiuchus. Walks on the serpent. The 13th symbol, the 13th sign. The black hole center sun. This is her. Whoa. 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 Okay. So Emerald raised a hand. The word Guadalupe is not Spanish, you know, but it is Arabic. It means hidden river or spring that bubbles up from a cave. I learned that in college. Leave it to Emerald to know something like that. Shasta nodded. Yep. Yes, Guadalupe means spring, just as if we find in the stories of Isis, Mary, and the Lady of Lords. Her robe is the red blood of sacrifice. She who bleeds, but never dies. She who bleeds, but does not die. It is the one of the three colors, the red, the white, and the black, that represents the maiden, the mother, and the crone. The colors now used by the church in their priestly robes. Wow. She who bleeds but does not die. What a title. This would describe all women everywhere who bleed each month so that we might produce new life. Shasta concluded her tale. The lady's mantle was blue, like the robes that the priestess, like Mariana and Mary Magdalene and Isis wore across the Mediterranean. This was also the color of the Aztec nobility, and the rays of the sun were her luminous body of light. They form a doorway from the great central sun, just like the Vesica Pisces, or the Christian fish symbol. The black band around her waist denotes pregnancy in the Aztec culture, and the golden symbol embroidered over her womb is the Aztec hieroglyph for the heart of the universe. Wow. The heart of the universe lies in the womb of her body. What a concept. I marveled. Later, I was to discover that for centuries, art historians have studied Juan Diego's tunic, trying to determine the exact composition of the painting, the nature of the pigments, tempera, oil, watercolor, and fresco. They cannot be precisely determined, nor can anyone explain why the fragile tunic of cactus fibers has never deteriorated or faded, although it has been being exposed to fog, candlelight, smoke, and humidity for over 450 years. It's still truly a miracle. Next, we go into the Black Madonna. This is another illustration done by Trisha. And that's the Black Madonna. Next, we followed Shasta into another part of the garden. And at this time, we stood before a large statue of Mary made of ebony, which is a dark stone. At the statue's feet lay red, white, and black candles. So now I understood why this is the Black Madonna. Shasta explained, the hidden mother, the one others cannot see. Her colors represent the three cycles of birth, life, and death. The Black Madonna is the sage. She is Isis Sophia, and Sotheus Isis, the name given to the star Sirius, the brightest star in the sky. Interesting. So Sirius is Isis Sophia, the brightest star in the sky. This is the home of the one great galactic council. So the Black Madonna is linked to the hidden wisdom that others cannot see. She is the veiled one, the Kala Sophia, the dark mother, the womb of creation from which the universe is born. She is Mary Magdalene, the female Christ, and a part of all women everywhere who were never acknowledged for their gifts. We stood in silence, contemplating the profundity of these teachings. Years later, I was to learn more about Kali Ma, the goddess who destroys the ego and rebirths the soul. She is also known as Shakti, the power that runs the cosmos, the active, ever-changing aspect of regeneration who bears the world child. Historian Barbara Walker writes, "Whatever power anything possesses, that is the goddess. Without her, neither man nor God could act at all. She is the hidden wisdom, and her titles are the treasure house of compassion, the giver of life, the life of all that lives." The aspect of the Great Mother is said to have created the magical letters of the Sanskrit alphabet, which stand for the primordial energies of creative sound. The mantras that brought into being the very things whose names she spoke of for the first time. Coincidentally, we have now discovered that at the center of every visible galaxy lies a black hole, a vortex of energy, responsible for the creation and the sustenance of all solar systems and the life within them. It is the physical equivalent of the primordial mother, hidden at the heart of the cosmos. Okay, guys, this is profound. The Lord has always told me the way to get out is to go in, and that's why he would always point at the heart, always pointing at the heart. I wonder if the way out of this construct is definitely not going to be by going up. It's going to be by diving in. And that means we're going to have to find the center of the galaxy and dive into the black hole. And that will be returning home through Mother. I wonder if that's right. I've seen this many, many times, and it's so weird because it would be the ultimate leap of faith. It's for sure. Okay. As I approached the altar of the Black Madonna, with reverence, I laid flowers at her feet. One by one, the other women followed suit. She is the great mystery herself, I thought, the cosmic ocean, the one who was veiled from sight. You could feel the sacred energies surging here. Shasta continued her lesson when we were finished. Because the power of the Great Mother is intrinsically woven within the hidden wisdom of Sophia, the male followers of Isis and Mary Magdalene call themselves sons of the widow. Sons of the widow? This is very ironic. Sons of the widow, another name for these, are the free May sons. So, like I said, another inversion of something that was probably intended to be something very beautiful. The hidden secrets of the divine goddess would have probably originally been carried forth and hidden through the Freemasons. But the sons of the widow, that's them. Another aspect of the Virgin who birthed the world. Shasta had told me something like this years before, and now it made far more sense to me. Yes, Isis was the first Madonna or Virgin Mother, the widow of Osiris, the great solar lord, who had been the spirit of the Christ in ancient times. Yes, the solar lord. That might be kind of major part of our soul template. Okay, so the great solar lord who had been the spirit of the Christ in ancient times. Mary Magdalene had been the wife or the spiritual partner of Jesus. I'm going to pour a little tea, sorry. I lost my place while I was trying to multitask. Okay. Mary Magdalene had been the wife or the spiritual partner of Jesus. Both of these women had seen their great lords killed by the powers of darkness, and both had been widowed and were forced to go into hiding. They both were the Black Madonnas, the hidden aspects of the Great Mother who had been forced to go underground. I thought then about how Isis had given birth to Horus in secret, and of the rumors that Mary Magdalene had given birth to a child with Jesus. Certainly such a thing was in keeping with the Jewish law that required all rabbis must be married, but keeping the existence of his wife and his children secret would have made a lot of sense, since Jesus was to become a target for extermination. That's so funny. Pretty sure. Yeah. There's a bloodline. But it would have had to come through the feminine. So the child of Christ would need to be female. So to bring forth a new bloodline, it would have to start with mom. So it would need to be female to preserve the holy bloodline. Some believe that this genetic line was the key to the real Holy Grail. This is what I was told. After all, the Grail was said to have contained the blood of Jesus, and that would extend to any children of his bloodline. And that's what I was shown too. I was shown that he came in as a specific kind of a hybrid, where he was able to retrieve some of the ancient genetic codes and deliver them back into the human experiment here. And through that, we would have access again to the holy bloodline or the Holy Grail. I just think that most of it is still lying dormant within us. It just hasn't fully been able to activate. So, but we do have it now, and he showed it to me. He showed me it would spread a little bit. He says, but after it hit a certain number, that code kind of goes into the whole construct somehow. So he says it's subtle in others, but strong in others. And also, too, I think that's why we still have the royal bloodlines. They're running around saying, we got royal bloodline genetics. So I'm pretty sure they might have foundation with that. Later, I would learn about the Merovingian lineage of French kings who claimed to be the descendants of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. History tells us that Mary Magdalene and Joseph of Arimathea had arrived in the south of France around 37 CE, along with Mary's siblings, Martha and Lazarus, and other disciples. Many of these initiates, my ears are popping, sorry, had continued on to Britain, creating a clear link between the Holy Grail in France and the Arthurian tales of the Holy Grail in England. Suddenly, much of this hidden history seemed clear. Jesus' mother had gone to Ephesus in Turkey. The legend says that she died there. And for a time, Mary Magdalene was said to have settled near Camargue in the south of France, in an area where the white horses still run along the cliffs, in an ancient symbol of the Divine Mother. White horses, ancient symbol of the Divine Mother. That's very interesting. That's always been my favorite horse, and I love Pegasus. Interesting. Okay, Camargue is also, or Carnegie, I don't know how to say that, Carnegie, is also the home to the Black Madonna. There was once a temple to Isis there. Today, this area is called Saintes Maries de la Mer, to honor the three Marys of the sea who had settled there: Mary Jacobi, Mary Salome, and Mary Magdalene. Today, there is a great festival celebrated there in May. Over 10,000 people come from all over Europe to honor these three women. During the celebrations, 3 local women dress up as the 3 Marys, representing the triple aspects of the ancient goddess of life, death, and rebirth, creating an aura of magic and wild beauty. Today, Christian stories claim that Mary Magdalene retired to a cave in the south of France, to a place called La Sainte Baume, the name meaning the holy tree. Yet there are legends that Mary Magdalene not only went to Britain for a time, but while in France she was said to have met a talking dragon. So sorry. I apologize. So yeah, it is said that she met a talking dragon named Tareski, echoing the classic images of the ancient mother with the dragon of wisdom, also associated with Kuan Yin, the divine mother of compassion in the East. According to Christian legend, when Mary Magdalene lived in the cave of La Sainte Baume, she not only took nourishment from the angels, but even today the local wine growers place votive candles in this cave to ensure a good vintage, just as farmers have for centuries in the tribute to the mother of the harvest. But where had Mary Magdalene gone during the many years between her arrival in France and her years of hermitage? In the years to come, I was to learn that she had been teaching among the Druids in both France and Britain, reigniting the wisdom of the Druids with her teachings and reactivating the priestess of Avalon in the circle of the ladies of the lake. Later, these seeds of wisdom were to blossom in France into the Marian movements of the Cathars, the Albigensians, and the Waldensians in southern France, all movements that were eventually wiped out by the church. In Britain, we can see the remnants of this hidden chapter of history, reflected in the mythology of the Knights of the Round Table, who were searching for the Holy Grail that had been lost. While there may have certainly been a physical chalice preserved from the Last Supper, as with all the mysteries, there are deeper truths buried beneath the obvious meanings. The chalice is not only a symbol of the womb of Miriam and the child she has carried, but of the divine feminine herself. In the legends of King Arthur, the Lady of the Lake gives Arthur the sword of Excalibur. And the right to rule, a reflection of the land rights once held by the woman, the rights that were eventually seized by the patriarchal church. The Lady of the Lake is, of course, yet another link to the cosmic goddess associated with the purifying waters of Nun. Yes, I could see that there were many parallels between the goddess, Isis, and Mary Magdalene, almost as if Isis and Osiris were simply an earlier version of Mary and Jesus, who had been reincarnated thousands of years earlier. This is what I've always thought was true. Perhaps there was an even deeper mystery, one of thousands of years earlier. Perhaps a cosmic play of powerful spiritual beings who periodically come into the world to remind us of the path of enlightenment. Shasta indicated that we should all sit down on the ground or on the many scattered benches facing the Black Madonna. I am going to read something to you now that was written by the early followers of Lady Miriam. She said, "When I am finished, you may choose any place in the garden to commune with her. Just stay in silence. She pulled the paper out of her pocket and began to read. I am protonoia, the thought that dwells within the light. I am the mother of the voice, speaking in many ways, completing the all. It is in me that knowledge dwells, the knowledge of things everlasting. It is I who speak within every creature, and I was known by the all. It is I who lift up the sound of the voice to the ears of those who have known me. I am the first one. That is the spirit that now dwells in the soul, but which originated from the waters of life. I am the womb that gives shape to all by giving birth to the light that shines in splendor. I am the aeon to come. I am the fulfillment of the all. Mariatha, the glory of the mother. I hid myself in every one, and I revealed myself within them. And every mind seeking me longed for me. For it is I who gave shape to the all when it had no form. It is through me that the voice originated. And it is I who put the breath within my own. I lay back on the ground and I closed my eyes, feeling the presence of the divine surround me, like a pool whose endless ripples began with the first impulse of creation. In my mind's eye, I found myself floating in a black lake of endless being. Above was the diamond radiance of the stars across the velvet blackness of the Milky Way. The lake seemed to be a place of total surrender. There was nothing to do, nowhere to go. I realized that her life-sustaining waters ran through everything. Then I saw that these same diamond stars were reflected in the lake like millions of points of light. There was no thought of yesterday or tomorrow. The presence of love completely supported me. I could dwell outside of time, and yet anything I needed could be born from this endless sea. Then I felt her presence move over me like the swirling of wings. It was the Great Mother who spoke within my deepest heart, the one that I called Ariel. Her presence expanded beyond any limits my mind could hold. She was speaking to my very soul. This is what she said. When I brought the worlds of manifestation into being, I never intended for you to suffer. That's where I lost it on the last video, and I literally turned it off, but it didn't record because I didn't have any room. But that literally, I lost it when I heard that. I don't know why, but that just rang so much truth to me. It ripped my heart. So this is what she wrote. When I brought the worlds of manifestation into being, I never intended for you to suffer. I, who see all, know all, and I am the all, knew nothing other than completion, self-contained, without desire, without boundaries or confusion. I dreamt in the vastness of my own being. I suffered not, and there was no other. This presence was complete in itself, inviolate and self-contained. At last, I began to dream of a companionship, of bringing myself into some new state of being. And so I moved in the vastness of no time and no space. From my dreaming, I spun out my mind to create the winged one, the enveloped one, the one that you call God, the Holy Father, the I Am Presence, the Eagle of Truth, the divine presence of all knowing that lives within my heart, regal. I thought, of course. And since I seated myself, I am the Virgin, the Mother of the All. From that first movement, I enclosed the envelope of time and space into a circle and replicated myself as Ariel, the one you would call Sophia. The O begets the A. The center begets the Alpha, the sound of the heart that is the heartbeat of the universe. You, in every form, I whispered. You encompass everything. Tears running down my cheeks. This is emotional to me. But I did not plan for everything. And this is why I continue to allow it to exist. I don't understand, I murmured, caught up in the splendor of the vision. I have seen everything, been everywhere. I am all of it, and still you surprise me. I saw images of all the millions of people throughout countless centuries, living and loving and killing and dying. The breath of the vision almost broke my heart. How could she encompass all of this at once? All the pain, all the love, the lives, happening all at the same time. The images shifted. People in prayer and in song and in dance and in acts of loving kindness. I beheld a mother with a child, a person on her knees, a couple in love, two friends embracing. I sing the song of love throughout all the worlds, like a homing beacon to your souls. And the yearning of your heart is the remembrance of me. I send out that call of love to each of you, like that sailor listening to the ocean waves. I am a voice in the darkness, a hand in the craggy places, a mother to her beloved child. I felt her constant benediction and presence, which ran throughout the breathtaking beauty of the universe. And I realized that all of it was a call of wonder and awe, leading itself back to the discovery of herself. I know the burden of believing that you are alone is a great one, she said. My breath caught in my throat. This was true. So often we feel so alone and disconnected. So I created the angels and the divinities for your relief. This belief that you are separate from me is a kind of madness. A madness that destroys, that creates suffering and fear. You believe it because you have not learned how to connect with the deepest levels of your being. Believing in your heart that nothing can fill that place inside of you. This is not true. I felt her deep compassion. Then for the suffering of all her creatures who had fallen into forgetfulness and blindness. You are meant to fill it with the beauty of my body made manifest around you. The skies, the earth, the animals, the forest. You are meant to fill it with one another, with every breath of my being, which is also your own. And when you are done with loving the things of this world, and when you have experienced all the joy and the pain of living, then you will find that yearning is quenched in the stream of my endless ocean. The transmission of her words ceased, but a soothing power of her presence remained. You are the cosmic ocean, I whispered. Her last words spoke to me in my heart. That I am. So we will begin next on chapter 15, the lost teachings of Jesus. I love you guys. I hope you're enjoying this. Makes me cry. Very powerful information to me. I hope it's resonating with you all as well. Sorry, my camera's ready to fall. Okay. So, I love you. Thank you so much for being on this journey with me. I really hope this is unlocking some of your memory. It's definitely doing that to me. So, I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. Have a beautiful day or night wherever you may be. And you guys are my connection to my tree. And through our tree, we're going to connect to our roots. And we're going to find our way through this and find a way to heal it and fill it with love. So I love you. See you on the next one.